Right, there should be some sort of an elf trapped in the mines. Plague rats. That doesn't sound good. Not that tough, probably just cause a nasty disease and that's it. So it's annoying more than it's really dangerous. Still, I might as well explore it. No items, no nothing. I mean, I understand that you want to put rats in your cage, because if you have rats, you have a lot of rats. But why would you put rats in the first place? Where does in your thinking you go, I want to make the best possible gaming experience for the player. Why? So I'm going to put in rats, tons of rats. You're not gonna get any experience out of fighting them, and that's how this needs to be. That's the best possible option for these encounters and fights. That's the thinking I don't get. Why rats? I mean, this isn't a sewer or anything, it's just a mine, and it's basically just filled with rats. Because apparently that's a thing you must put in every place here. Game wants to make sure that we get torches for some reason. Or is it just for added realism? Gotta have torches all over the place. Again, nothing wrong with that, just I feel that's selective realism. If there's no point in having these torch storage chests, just why bother putting them in? Spend your time doing something more constructive for the campaign. Something that actually contributes to the enjoyment or a player can get from playing it. There seems to be an area of infinite rats.
Meat sizzles on a nearby spit, the aroma mingling with the harsher scents of rust and rock dust. The fire casts dancing shadows on the cavern walls, and, in the flickering light, you see the dim outline of a man. He leans against an anvil, his shoulders hunched, his head buried deep within his hands. As you draw closer, you can see the soiled remnants of a familiar uniform hanging in rags from his waif-like form. The man raises his head from his hands and begins to speak. "I know you, don't I?" he asks, his voice hopeful. He moves his face into the light. "You recognize me, right?"
We both worked in the service to the king. That is probably true, but I don't recall his name. The king? You watch him struggle to put meaning to the word. I guess so, he concedes. I've forgotten everything. Yeah, I've forgotten everything too. I've been trying to write things down so I'll remember, but when I read them back, half of them don't even seem to make sense. Yeah, what have you written down? I don't know. I keep on coming across new messages. Ree sputters in the fire, but the young man doesn't look away. Here's what I've been able to piece together. I'm apparently loyal to some prince, he says, his face earnest. That must have been important because I had put it in big letters. Prince Ahmed is a possibility, yes. But we don't know if that's the only prince. What else did you write down? I think I'm from some place called Barathul. We all are, I think. I drew a rough map, but all it really shows is that Barathul is somewhere far southwest of here. Who are we? Why are we so far from home? When I was hunting rats, I found a message about that. It was underlined. Shadows danced across his face. We're a company of witch hunters, sir, in the king's service. We had tracked one here, so to some cliffs beyond the pass. Could be the night hag, I suppose. There's nothing else really here. But why tell the king that she's dead then? Yeah, this nothing really makes sense here. She is dead. Tell the king the witch is dead. Sensing your excitement, your newfound friend opens his mouth to speak. A sudden gust of wind fuels the fire, however. With the change of light, your blood runs cold. Ghostly figure. Against the far wall, a piece of chalk suddenly scrapes against a rock. You turn to see a new message forming in the young elf's familiar scroll, but it is not his hand that holds the chalk. You find it hard to swallow past the lump that's forming in your throat. Something tells you that you knew of this ghostly woman once. Slowly the spirit lets the piece of chalk fall to the cavern floor and turns to you. Filled with dread, you read the words she just inscribed. The fields of battle lie in the hearts of men. That's it. I wonder if we have other options. I mean, that's clearly the end of the campaign, and there, I mean the module, and there's nothing there. And the description already gave me the impression that this is gonna be short, and it's definitely incomplete. And that's what it is. It's a warm up basically.
Meat sizzles on an.
It doesn't
he leans
answer
against
anything.
The man raises his head from his hand.
But I want to see if can I actually learn something useful, because that seems like a very abrupt and odd place to end things. Yeah. So there's a spell cast on us. No surprise there. The only thing we can really access is the things he's written down. Anything about the Kavanaghs though? I hid it somewhere before they caught me, but the note I left didn't mention where, right? But you remember that you stole it. Hmm. Yeah, it goes the same thing all over again. And that's it. So premium module Witch's Wake, definitely incomplete and bunch of rubbish. Uh, it, I think this has some ideas that could be developed into interesting directions, but the actual adventure itself was piss poor. Combat felt fairly unbalanced. A lot of undead things too. It's a problem because even if you could somehow have things like sleep spells and the like that might be able to help you handle the large groups, they don't work on the undead. So you pretty much have to do pure damage. And against multiple fairly high level creatures, when you're level 1, level 2, level 3 at most, that's makes for a miserable experience because they're basically huge trash mobs, and in the case of the rats, they just spawn indefinitely. But you maybe have like half a dozen spells at most, and that's being generous. So it makes for a miserable gaming experience. You would rather have meaningful encounters where the number of enemies you face is much fewer. So this there really doesn't seem to be all that much we can do. The only thing I might have been able to do differently is how to deal with the hag. Try to steal some of her items, read the journal, but I don't see how that would make too much of a difference. A miserable premium module. Piss poor. I, who would spend money on this shit? No one. That's who. You'd at least have to basically sell it as a complete module adventure. Then it might make sense. But this is maybe like a teaser to what might be come in the future. I do recall that this Witch's Wake came as at least some version of it came as basically a free module, premium module, with a lot of purchases. So I expected this to be the worst of these. I also expect the others to be at least complete. They might not be all that much longer, but they would be adventures, a story from start to finish, one way or another. Right, Witcher's Wake, terrible, just god awful.